game. Will they invest again in such a straightforward, hard engage? Qiyana, I think, should remain banned, should remain perma'd. Kanavi, very dangerous, and so limit him a little bit. Let's see what else here. So we're whittling kind of down on the Sundered Sky AD jungles in game 2, but there's still plenty of them left up here. Xin, Trundle, Pantheon even. So plenty of options there. Ryze is up. So maybe, okay, yeah, first pick Ryze. Then you get probably what, the Taliyah trade for it?
Yeah.
Maybe you go Taliyah plus the Pantheon or Xin or something like that. I like the Pantheon because it's point and click, but since the little nerfs, people have kind of cooled off a bit on that champion. So Trundle is definitely a big priority with both these junglers. Okay, and it would dissuade you. Yeah, would dissuade you from tanks too.
Well predicted there, Kobe. So here in Champ Select powered by Omen and HyperX, what is the response going to be from the side of TES? I like getting something comfortable for Creme. Obviously looked like a monster on the Ryze last time we saw him. Something maybe safer for the bottom side.
He did not look like a monster on the Annie.
No.
Last game.
No, it was.
He did not.
It's good he's not on social media right now. That's all I will say, because he is getting some heat on the platforms across the world, across languages. So we'll see if he can have a redemption moment as BDD responds. Cassio, conventional answer. Matchup that's kind of, again, rising to prominence with the return of Ryze.
Interesting early Xayah Rakan too. So let's see what the punishment is. Because there's a few ways they can go about it. But yeah, the Cassiopeia, definitely the other really common answer into Ryze that we have seen. And let's see, I like the early Alistar pick for them too, to really bring that structure, but since no jungle picked up early for TES, KT will still ban out the Xin, even having the Trundle already. They really want to push Kanavi down.
Just wanting to take away any of that early game comfort. And again, when you evaluate these two teams' strengths coming into the series, it makes sense, right? Early game felt like the biggest disparity between both these lineups, so making sure Kanavi can't start to take over with one of these dominant early game champions is a good look. That said, I'm a little nervous for TES. I think they have some really strong comfort picks for the lineup, but whenever I see Xayah into the Trundle, that pillar can obviously make things so much more difficult, but reliable engage for JackeyLove and Hong, never too bad to see, as the Pantheon is also going to hit the bench, right?
So I think those are all the ones that we mentioned. So he's pushed kind of past the top tier of the Sundered Sky junglers.
There has to be another jungler that will build Sundered Sky.
I mean, yeah, anybody. Do you have AD ratios? Lee Sin, okay, Lee Sin is an odd. What about that? Maybe, because Lee Sin with the mobility is decent too. That's definitely still an option for Kanavi. Of course, Kanavi has a tremendous amount of options. I mean, could do Nocturne as well for the extra global.
Ezreal. Going to be the lock-in here for deokdam. I do like it, right? Has a little bit more range. Doesn't always fit the hyper-scaling carry archetype, but you have the Cassio, who can really easily compensate that. Punishes for the double short-range carries of the Xayah and the Ryze.
Yeah, poke against Xayah, always nice. So we'll see what they pair the Ezreal with. Is it going to be a poke pairing as well in the support role, or more engaged? Or excuse me, I'm absolutely trolling. I'm absolutely trolling. It was first pick Alistar. Back to the other side though.
The worst part is I didn't correct you, so we were joined hand in hand in predicting Alistar top for absolutely
Here
no
we
reason.
go. There we go. Kanavi carry. All right, Kanavi carry. We got the Zed jungle here. Let's go. This thing is absolutely insane. Zed clears so fast. You can just do your full clear, recall, get your purchase, and then walk to the scuttle crabs before they even spawn still and fight. So let's see it. Big Kanavi Zed coming through. And we'll round it out with the kind of standard Renekton here.
This is interesting, right? It feels like top esports are putting a lot of faith in the individual confidence of their players, because while there is some solid setup for Kanavi in the lanes, it's definitely not as clear-cut as the previous composition where you're all trying to push R. KT a bit more well-rounded, a bit more stock standard. Perfect, of course, the guy I'm kind of keeping my eye on because he had such a fantastic game one. I want to see if, some of the criticism that has been levied against him domestically will show up a little bit more in this top lane matchup. But in the meantime, it really is TES who need to fire back, and Kanavi Zed is the perfect tool to kick off a comeback.
Yeah, I like Zed too because it is a jungle champion where you're like, well, I can do a lot myself without relying on my team. I do still need to rely on my team, of course, but you can do a lot yourself without relying on them as well. Lots of possibilities of 1v1s. Very, very quick clear. And let's see, can TES push us a little further? Drakos, they had the early game lead. It was going quite smoothly for them, and then they just failed every single team fight. Every single engage, it felt like came up short for Hung and for Creme, and they just were completely demolished in, what, like 6 consecutive fights?
It's so rare that you see a game where a team gets sole point that early on, and they're not able to convert a single fight or look for a creative steal angle. Again, testament to how good KT can be in these late game team fight scenarios, but late game isn't a concern right now. We're getting ready for an early game with Kanavi, Zed in it. You talked about the clear speed. Gonna have to keep our eyes on these lanes as well. We're set up for a much more volatile early game as Cuzz and Kanavi already trading blows.
You know one of the coolest things about doing the tournament in China is the Xayahs. Like, I love this. It makes me wish we did this at LCS. Like, it is powerful.
Also, you can hear the passion. We're right next to the fans right now. You can hear the passion in the voice. There's a guy next to us shouting his lungs out.
Yeah,
no regard. If he has to speak tomorrow, he's doomed.
I can kind of feel it too, because our thing shakes a little bit. We get the physical sensation. Okay, so let's take a look. Is it going to be top-down clears? That's kind of what I would expect. The top lane match is Ksante Renekton, so I don't really care about that. So both junglers, let's look at clearing down towards the bottom lanes, boys.
Poor top laners. Bot lane will be interesting, of course, as well. The Rakan does give you, with the Gleaming Quill, of some tools to survive the poke of the Ezreal, and we know kind of how weak the Alistar level 1 is, so we'll keep track of that. But here's the fabled Zed clear. This isn't the super fast part, although this is also pretty fast.
Yeah, it is. It's super fast from second one. Yeah. His passive is insane. And we'll see if he does do the full clear into recall for early base and then get back out to fight towards Scuttle or not. Regardless, it is going to be TES here with the onus on them. Like, they really do need to have a much different look to this game. I mean, Hung is on a squishy engage support. And we saw him multiple times. He would go, whether it was disguising himself as a minion and then going for the Corki and not being able to get deokdam, or whether it was him, in the team fight going straight for the front line and then just getting immediately blown up and deleted. They were, for the majority, unsuccessful. So he's going to have a completely different game here on Rakan, who is way quicker, but is kind of similar in the fact that you can get blown up too. So if you do mess up your engage, you'll get punished quickly. All right, well, we are timing our Zed clear here. Drakos, 252. That's pretty good. And does go for the instant recall for the purchase. Okay. All
right, let's check Cuzz. He's very far away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fair, bro.
If Trundle could start with Tiamat, I think it might be close, but he just can't.
Trundle doesn't need any more help, all right? This champ is pretty good.
Okay, well, if Volibear was in the game, you'd be singing a different song, I'm sure. Suddenly Trundle's the problem.
Okay, so here it is. Now is where the Zed comes back with the double longsword we're talking about, and you want to go to the crab of the side that your opponent is actually going to, because with your double longswords, you want to fight him, but Cuzz knows. He's like, all right, yeah, Kanavi's definitely going to be coming for me. I am not going to give him the fight. Yeah. And so he leaves the side. But wait a second. Kanavi's staying so long. Do they want to punish this push on BDD? BDD is 50%.
Flash forward. Rude, it's only going to be the slow, but Kanavi immediately goes in. One more auto contest for the week. He does not quite get the damage. BDD still living. Creme in trouble. Hung over the wall. Hits him with the feather.
They get it. Kanavi flashes the JDG. Are they gonna? They're fine. I think they're still fine, right? Yeah. Okay. They walk out, even though look at the river, because there is a roam up from Alistar. They're fine. All right. Yeah. They go for the dive. They didn't even go for the scuttle crab here. I love it. They chunk him out. Creme flashes in, and even just the slow is enough. But they really did need the roam from Rakan. If Hung is not on the way to finish that, then they might have had to stick around long enough for Cuzz to counter. But regardless, it ends up being successful with the full roam from Rakan coming over as well. Flashes blown from both sides in jungle and mid.
And that flash is going to be crucial as we go later in, right? That setup for Creme. Easier to pull off now that BDD doesn't have access, and really clutch timing for BDD. Instantaneous reaction any later, and he would have gotten rooted. Would have been easy pickings for Kanavi.
And honestly, it was good movement from BDD to just last that long. Unfortunately for BDD, 3 members of TES are enough to take him down.
It's that third member, that slippery Rakan who shows up and just autos you. So all in all, still positive for TES. Definitely the worst version of the positive outcome, as the gold does go to Hung, but maybe it does mean an earlier redemption, which can be crucial in those early fights.
Yeah, I mean, honestly too, like with both of them blowing flashes, I mean, it means these wards are critical, the wards that are going to continue to track jungle, but mid lane will continue to be volatile. And I do like that. I want to see more fights around Ryze Cassio. These junglers are over vision.
He backwards from deokdam. Now, of course, you've got Kanavi. There's so much vision, it's important to highlight, on the bottom side here from KT. They do not want to give Kanavi any angle into attacking these lanes. He brings the damage. The rest of the team bringing that simple setup. Jackie and Hung poking their heads up into the river. No one taking an early Drake this time around. And TES, again, in control in the earlier stages. But I think Kanavi on the Zed, a much more potent threat as we move further into the game.
All right, so they know there's a lot of vision on bottom side of mid lane, but on reset, it is going to be a top side Scuttle Crab, and then they can try and attack from the other side. Ryze does have quite good setup, and Kanavi is quite close to level 6. If he can, oh, nice. Creme turns his back, and should be fine there. Okay. Dragon will get burned down, but Kanavi is going to go Zed to the top side for that top side Scuttle Crab and get his level 6. KT and Cuzz pretty happy to stack dragons, though, with this comp.
Yeah, definitely a lot of potent scaling as we get later in the game. Won't be an Infernal Soul, but they will get that first Infernal Drake. Meanwhile, on the top side, Perfect and 369 continue to trade blows. Level 6 is where we might start to see some action here on the top side, but as you so eloquently put it, Kobe, it's Ksante versus Renekton, so.
Yeah. Don't care too much about it, but you're right that with their ultis, there's a lot more potential for kills. So Renekton ultimate does actually so much damage ever since they buffed it. If you're allowed to stay close to someone and keep them within range, and Ksante, yeah, enough has been said about that ultimate, so you know the possibilities there.
Navi poking his head in, seeing if he can. Again, he's ahead in XP, so it's
Level
easy for him to
6.
step up here. Hung there as well to cover. Level advantage massive. Kanavi with access to heal, but deokdam waiting over the wall. Kanavi, shadow forward, knock-up connecting onto Peter. Exhaust already down with the death mark now going in. Peter might just be in trouble with the CC's flawless. Kanavi immediately forced to step back, manages to get the red, healing up just a bit, but BDD now on the way. Miasma over the wall, it means Hung is gonna get taken down. Red buff for support, KT covering very well.
I feel like every assassin player is always like, man, they had an exhaust. He gets exhausted. Kanavi gets exhausted. It is rough. And 1 for 1 in the very end.
A little bit of damage goes over. Tries to get tricky with it. Peter!
And now he's actually dead.
Now JackeyLove's chasing out deokdam. deokdam only level 5, JackeyLove level 6. Surely this is another kill to follow. This game is an absolute bloodbath. Barrier there for deokdam. Tries to land one more Q, doesn't get it. Creme comes over the wall. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. So in the end, wait, we're not even done yet. Peter here's got the wave pushing towards him. Double buffs on the Alistar.
2 members coming up. You can take a look at the mini-map. Hex Flash faking out just in case.
Okay.
Trying to hold the wave just to make sure the dive can't come through, but very likely in trouble. Using Hung as a taxi. Pulverize looking for the interrupt. BDD now here, and once again, Hung might be the sacrificial bird, but is able to use JackeyLove to escape. Now you can take a... Never mind. The play is still going.
Heck yeah. We've got
Heal.
a pillar.
He's on Hung. He is the one who's able to backstep. JackeyLove, of course, still has access to the ultimate. Now you may explain what we just saw.
Well,
no, maybe not. Never mind.
Yet.
Never mind.
Still messing with them. Even though they are going to look towards the grubs for sure, they do have teleport advantage for 369 though. So Perfect is trying to walk his way over to lend support, but it is
coverage good there. Hung able to get outside of the miasma though, not quite perfect setup. Cuzz though has already started the objective. Crucially, they don't really have mid prio here. It's an even lane state. Because doesn't have vision. Doesn't anticipate them to be dropping a wave. True Shot Barrage is used. They're able to grab 2 grubs. Likely to be just happy with that, but Peter wants a little bit more. Flash out from Hung. Nice look for KT. Able to grab the Summoner spell as well as the 2 grubs, but TS firing back with a grub of their own.
Yeah, no miasma cooldown available there to follow it up. So Hung is able to get out with his flash and does live. Successful for KT. grabbing 2 of the grubs. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Perfect just stays close to 369. You know, nobody's going to fully overcommit and go up towards that top side. And Kanavi's only able to slip in time to grab 1 of the grubs. Meanwhile, we do get a fairly inconsequential interrupt on the recall.
Kanavi here to shadow, maybe hoping for an angle on the BDD, but you can already see some of the threat that KT's comp poses when they are able to group up. The power of the miasma plus the Trundle pillar, really making it impossible for a lot of these more mobile champions to escape, if you can set it up perfectly. Of course, again, Perfect holding on to lane prio at the very least on the bottom side for now. 369 only continuing to stack armor, however.
Yeah, 369 stuck around, cleared out the extra wave, and again, okay, the teleports are going to be evened up very quickly, but he's going to use his bottom, and they're going for the swap here for KT. KT sending Perfect back to the top side. So that means 369's teleport down bottom side is going to get the early push on the wave, and it'll be answered instead by Cassio going bottom to collect. So they're going to position the Renekton into the lane here versus Ryze, and that is Steel Caps on Renekton. Steel Caps rush versus the Thornmail rush for Ksante.
Thornmail still, in terms of the healing reduction, of course, not the armor, not the worst against Cassio. She does have a lot of sustain between the Roa and the Twin Fang.
Yeah, maybe don't auto-attack the Ksante.
Yeah, that's not the E, single target.
Yeah.
But you can't help yourself sometimes, you know? You just gotta throw one out there. It's not enough for the Fangs. It's 369. Keeping an even lane state. Both teams seemingly content to set up for the objectives. 6 seconds till the next Drake. Won't have an Ocean Soul, won't have an Infernal, but TES with control. KT earlier on were able to grab the first Drake. We're going 1 for 1 this time around. Neither side going to be able to amass too much.
Oh, we are converging though. Peter's chasing.
Peter wandering his way in. Drake is going to go down. Kanavi able to take that. Peter holding onto the ulti as long as possible. Heal coming out. Perfect flashing and immediate stun. Cleanse coming out from JackeyLove. Charm is there from Hung. JackeyLove now moving backward. You're going to be able to pull in the feathers, but Peter just refuses to go down. Hung waiting off to the side. Kanavi going in with the ulti. And in the meantime, it's a turn right back. BDD not quite able to land it, but the interrupt going to come through just in time. 369 dropping down. Creme able to make it out with the Realm Warp. And again, KT in the team fights are unmatched.
Did you see that focus? That was so clean, actually. Wait a second, we're not even quite done here. There's some pings coming out as Creme shouldn't be able to get anything done, but another really well-coordinated team fight from KT. They force everything out of Jackie so early. Perfect flashes in, and yeah, he does cleanse very quickly, but the pillar behind Jackie meant that Jackie had to also ult and use his flash. So even though they don't kill Jackie, they get everything out of him. So cleanse early, then the pillar behind him, and then as Hong comes through, Perfect able to gain the distance. There's the ultimate, and Peter gets the triple Q knockup into the headbutt back, and then they focus down Kanavi. They take down the Zed, not slippery enough. And KT, another beautifully executed team fight, focusing on these damage dealers, getting everything out of Jackie, pushing him out of the fight, then focusing on the Zed. The melee carry can't get away there, even with the shadows.
And it's got to be said, you look at a player like Kanavi on Zed, you know there's the potential to do a lot, but this is a difficult composition to execute against as the Zed. Reliable point-and-click stun of the Renekton. If you go in when he's in the area, he immediately gets to lock you down. Things like the miasma, how slippery an Ezreal can be, how tanky a Cassio can be. This is not an easy game once we get out of the early stages to pull off these clutch Zed flanks, and so far KT have just been executing better. Pressure in mid now in favor of TES. KT with a slight gold lead, but we're approaching the next crucial objective, that Rift Herald. See who wants to prioritize it.
All right, like they're continuing their assignments here for the lanes at least. Cassio slow pushing on bottom side. Looks like we shouldn't have any, big explosion just yet. deokdam, by the way, he's the only one with all of his summoners. Well, I guess spellbooks don't really count. Okay, spellbook.
Just keep going. No one noticed.
Spellbook players don't count. But this Ezreal is going to be so hard to kill. Aside from inherently being Ezreal with the Arcane Shift, with Flash and Barrier, is going to be hard even for a Zed comp here to try and put the pressure on. So we'll see. Maybe Hung is going to be able to get a good engage for them with the Rakan combination. Currently, though, looking bottom side.
Moving in. Hung immediately forced to Ghost. Kanavi there has already used the Living Shadow. TES pushing back, random pull. I think Peter may be anticipating something there from Creme. TES, good coverage of the bottom side to make sure Creme was safe there around it. And it's important when you look at the items, let me have to hold that thought for top side. The items are still incredibly close, right? So while it does feel like KT are in control, while it feels like KT are fighting better in terms of just the math of League of Legends, items and members, there's not a massive deficit for TES. It's just a bit harder for them to execute.
Let's
Q3, 369. Looks like he's fishing for the all-out angle, but will hold on to that cooldown. And damn, alongside Peter, maybe ready to make a move here in mid lane.
They definitely want BDD again, though. Blue Trinket is going to see him, and BDD's out. They're going to make a counterplay.
TP, happy to sack bottom side. There's not even a way for them to play for. Now it's 369 who needs to get running. Cuzz can just steal away all those resistances as well. Locked up, the pillar there too. BDD just running him down. 369, nowhere left to go. The Q3, not enough.
Is it cathartic how everybody, has just seen so much Ksante, and like he's coming at you, he wants to get an ult somewhere, and everyone's just kind of kiting him, keeping that arm's length. You're slowed, you're on the Miasma.
It's the counterplay the balance team promised us.
Yeah.
But we infrequently see.
3v1 him. That's
3v1, just CC him. Got it, yes.
But that one was good. I mean, I really like that call. If they're going to make the bottom side play on you, BDD just teleports out. They go make the cross map play on the other side. They get a kill. Plus, they're going to still do the side lane tower trades. And Cuzz is going to get +1 on the mid lane tower with his Rift Herald. So Creme does get the bottom tower, but BDD is going to get the top side one as well.
This is just such a good, comfortable position for KT to be in. Already breaking open the mid lane. Going to make it that much harder for JackeyLove to find these safe lanes to farm in. Perf now completing that first item. Overall, KT doing all right. TES firing back where they can, making sure to keep the CS relatively close, but these little gold leads across every single role are just starting to grow in the favor of KT. Now, Archangel's completed, not quite the Seraph's Embrace, but once that ticks over for BDD, that is going to be a huge spike in the fight, and yet another reason why it's going to be so difficult for TES to find that clutch kill.
Yeah, can TES get a good angle here? They're trying to get some opportunities for Hung to sneak around and actually find the flank engage, but KT and Peter doing a good job. They go bully out, they take the vision. Dragon started up. I think, honestly, just keep 369 pushing top. Don't even teleport him down.
The controversial Arcane shift into the Zed move, probably a testament to how comfortable KT are feeling in this game, as it's JackeyLove who now might be in trouble. Headbutt pulverized comes out, Pillar ready to follow, Redemption coming down, JackeyLove getting a little bit more space, the Feather's ready to be pulled back, double root, but he'll still die in the end. Perfect TPing to the top side. KT might be playing for a little bit more here.
Jackie caught. Are the rest of them caught? At least some of them are.
Oh,
okay.
Nice. Kanavi's going to need to get tricky. Now goes back, wants to ult onto deokdam. Is going to spin a little bit, needs to get to the blast cone in time. I don't think there's any way he's going to be able to grab the kill. The Pillar sends him sky high. Peter in the end going to knock him down.
So at the very least during that game of hide and seek, Creme is split pushing. So still kind of focused here on TES on getting some cross maps, some gold. He can't quite finish out the tower though on that last wave.
And I got to say, I was expecting this to be maybe even a dominant series for TES after the first game. Close, as I expected TES to come back, but KT have just been a step ahead the entire time. TES, of course, doing their diligence. They're good enough on the map to make these response plays, but it is always KT trading up, and the opportunities, the angles of attack are just getting smaller and smaller, especially as Hung is learning firsthand. Wandering into KT's jungle might just be a death sentence. That's the quickness burned. We're only a minute before the Otacon.
That makes, I feel like it gets so hard here for TES now. No Rakan ultimate either to even try and threaten a pick play with. So, I guess it would have to be like a trailing split push play where you like trail your Ryze with a Zed or something, try and make a quick assassination attempt, or maybe they get some fancy Realm Warp play, but barring something like that, I feel like KT can methodically move in, take their vision. They're taking red buff right now. Pings are coming down from TES to contest, though.
TES, Kanavi in the area. They want to at least fight for this. We'll just be forced to lose it. 369 doesn't want to push too far on the top side. Obviously, Otacon on the bottom side means overstaying could cost him. But TES really just haven't been first to set up on these objectives, and KT with this Ezreal really have the range advantage. It's so hard for TES to approach. Kanavi caught out. Beautiful layering. Kanavi forced back. That's the Living Shadow. Redemption now coming down, holding on for an extra second. Peter getting low. The Unbreakable Will about to fade away. JackeyLove still here, but it's perfect on the flank. The cleanse being forced out from Jackie. Perfect dashing back with the dice. JackeyLove continues to auto-attack. In the meantime, the combo! It comes in. Cuzz getting the kill on the Creme. Perfect zoning off single-handedly the TES bottom lane. It's just feeling like death by 1,000 cuts as KT turn their attention to the Otacon.
BDD with the petrifying gaze. Hits the stun. Creme down, and Otacon soon to follow.
Jackie has flash, but BDD terrifying. That 2-item spike for Cassio is massive. Ung has spell, but doesn't have smite. No reason to walk forward there, but wants to spot it. Will know that it's going down, and again, the advantages for KT only continue to stack further and further in their favor, and this time around the counterplay is it's 369 instead of Creme, but it's the same thing we've seen all game, these desperate tower pushes just to get something back.
Yeah, and they're, in both cases, they're not able to finish them off, so they don't even like get some sort of gold, you know, cash in or payoff. It is just KT once again, reset after the play. They got everything they came for. They took the bottom side, and now, Kanavi at least, oh, did he even get any?
Didn't look like it.
Cuzz able to smite there, just annihilating everything.
Do you know what the awkward thing about KT games is, Kobe?
The awkward thing?
Yeah, because you can't tell when fans aren't cheering if it's because they're really big KT fans or if they're not KT fans.
Yeah, is it quiet because the, okay, wait a second.
Because they don't want to believe, but I'm starting to believe because Kanavi looking good as dead. The body block's coming in, the feathers are flying. Kanavi just barely able to make it out. Peter locked up, the feathers coming through. The will looking breakable as the shutdown finally there. A glimmer of hope for TES.
Top play as well. Teleport up here for a 2v1 on Perfect.
Perfect, quick stun. Creme now coming around the wall. Cuzz trying to collapse on JackeyLove in the meantime. It's a split play across two fronts. JackeyLove caught out. Realm Warp to get them a little bit closer to Perfect. JackeyLove holding on nicely. They don't really have an angle of attack there. Dominus coming out for Perfect in the meantime. One dash going through. Knocked back by 369, but he manages to make it over the wall. Hung now chasing. Flash forward. The stun to interrupt, but it's not enough to stop the knockup. It's a shutdown for Creme. TES grab another.
TES invest heavily in trying to take down Perfect on the top side, and they are successful in taking him down, but it was a pretty heavy investment. See if that money...
TP?
Arrival on...
Right on top of BDD?
Okay.
He's in, he's out.
That's a hard champ to catch.
Very true.
All right, so as we progress into the 1-3-1, the Dragon being available at the moment, TES, yeah, they are, KT are showing Ezreal top, but I think it's still fine to force here. Perfect comes up with teleport in 1 second.
And you saw in the previous fight, if somehow TES can get KT to fight into a choke, JackeyLove does do a lot of damage, even on 1.5 items, but they're just really not in a good spot here. Kanavi laying down the shadow, but immediately forced out of the pit. Good discipline from the side of KT to not give him that angle.
Yep, chased out, and soul point for KT. They can continue to force TES to come to them. Creme was unable to get much damage on this top tower. He didn't have teleport, so he couldn't join either. And now that's a 3-item Cassio that you're looking at with Cosmic Drive also done, extra speed.
If you enjoyed seeing a Cassio kite Ksante without the extra speed, let me tell you, it's only going to get better here, although 369 at least is finally building a little bit of MR. Of course, still heavily a physical damage composition from KT, so it makes sense that he would delay a bit. Peter, I'm going to step forward, alting the quickness now there. Miasma to block a bit more as Kanavi's forced back solo by Peter, but BDD's just on the chase. Kanavi zoned away. Excellent pillar to isolate Creme. Twin Fangs coming out. That's the ulti. Creme able to sidestep. BDD getting a little bit lower, but the Redemption keeping him topped up. And now he's just running Creme down. KT. Effortless collapse on the top side. Kanavi trying to get tricky. Good sidestep. Take away from the Mystic Shot. Will be able to escape.
KT are honestly just dominating them, running them down here, and they can push in on this secondary tower. There is split push going on, so they will get 1 tower in payment this time around.
But now the setup on the top side, we're 38 seconds from that Baron spawning. There is a Cassio on this KT lineup. They will delete this objective if they're given even 30 seconds. They're not, right now with the death timers on Creme, they've already got 15. KT might just settle for this tier 2, however. position they're in, it doesn't really demand that they force an objective. They're very calmly advancing through this game.
Yeah, they certainly are. Really well controlled from KT. As you mentioned, they have Cassio, so they can put so much pressure on these objectives. And Cloud Soul is massive for this type of team. Trundle, turbo sped up with Cloud Soul, super crazy. Cassio already with a Cosmic Drive and Cloud Soul, gonna be insane here. BDD, at least for TES's side, BDD used his flash offensively, and so they can kind of cope and be like, all right, well, there's no flash on Cassio. Maybe we can actually kill the Cassio. Is that possible?
All I'm saying is, it is concerning when you're playing Zed jungle and you look at the enemy mid laner and they didn't build as Zayahs. They're not even scared. There's not even an item or component leading towards the Seekers. That is how unconcerned BDD is about the threat on him.
Or something next, but they're just going to burn this thing down.
Kanavi, 10K on the objective. Have to keep eyes on Kanavi. He's the one that can make the steal happen immediate. Starts the fight. He's looking good as Creme is caught out. Redemption to hit him topped up, but most of TES is going to be splitting off. Peter going to use the Mikhails on himself to survive a little bit longer. In goes 369, trying to find the isolated target, but for now, BDD is untouched. The feathers fly as JackeyLove goes up and comes right back down. Triple kill for deokdam, and the isolated 1v1. 369 only find a brief moments for an honorable duel as KT cut him to pieces.
Quadra kill for deokdam this time around, and KT are staring straight at a 3-0 through Swiss.
Incredible stuff from this lineup. So composed in these mid to late game scenarios. TES so often dominant in the early game, so often clutch in the team fights, but we are seeing none of that in the face of KT.
Are KT going to be the first team to group stage, Drakos? Is that the world we are living in?
It must be. Lore must really have doubted them. It's really all come together.
All right, well, let's take a look at the approach. Ksante teleported to mid-tower, so he's very far away. So TES are starting this 4v5, and so they engage from KT towards Creme, chunks him out and puts so much pressure. Even though Peter does go down, we get a huge petrifying gauge over the rest of them. Creme was already focused, Creme was already burned down, and then BDD came up with the petrifying gaze on everybody else, making it easy for KT to clean up.
And again, that's kind of the choke point you'd normally want to fight in as the Xayah, but BDD is just so far ahead. Doing so much work with the Miasma, with the petrifying gaze as KT set their sights on the bottom side of the map. This Red Bull Baron power play likely to break open the base of TES, but TES commit to the 1-3-1. In this case, it'll be a 4-1 as Creme still solo pushing that top side, wants the additional gold, wants that bounty. However, it's just so hard for them to defend the range of the Ezreal, the all-in threat. Creme returning means they might have an angle of attack. Heal comes out from Peter. Headbutt pull only onto 369. In the meantime, Perfect getting things off. Perfect getting lower, or Peter, excuse me, getting lower as deokdam continues to rain Mystic shots from the sidelines, and KT content to just take 2 inhibs with the Realm Warp.
Yeah, that would be a dangerous one.
Not going to be something they take, so KT happy for that. Soul, of course, next. Reset comes in for BDD. He's immediately going to teleport to the bottom lane. If TES overcommit to face check here, it could kill them, but they already have the vision set up crucially, so they know when this is being started. Sweeper's now going to get used. TES, see, they have a potential angle of attack, but walking through the choke against BDD is terrifying. The Miasma to stop the follow-up. 4K getting lower. Kanavi needs to move in, but the stun, Perfect ready with it to try to take it away. 3K, eyes on the objective, eyes on the soul. KT holding on to the fight in the meantime. deokdam and BDD for now untouched. The dragon ignored, it's no longer important. Cuzz keeping things going. Cuzz versus 369 in the pit, it does not matter. JackeyLove flashing back, Feathers ready to pull back, but the damage is not there. BDD is just stronger. The soul is theirs, the series is theirs. KT dominance in this 2-0 matchup.
Welcome to the group stage. KT gonna get through unless Creme and Kanavi literally can have a miracle happen right now.
KT pushing in, BDD flash forward, Perfect dashing through to give us, okay, that wasn't it. But at the end of the day,
no miracle.
It still works out. KT, I don't know if you believed or didn't believe, but either way, KT fans, it worked. KT moving on to knockouts, moving on to the bracket stage.
Making quick work of it here. 2-0 for KT. Team fight after team fight after team fight spanning both games.
dismantling TES, I think it's safe to say, even when we got to see some of the flair, some of the spicy picks we were waiting for from Kanavi, the Zed just did not work out at the end of the day. Congrats to KT, 2-0, moving on. Let's see what the analyst desk has to say.
Let's go! My goats! I've always doubted them, and that was the way to go.
Unsurprisingly, Laura was the loudest one in the arena.
Honestly, that's actually what happened. Like, no one was
it
clapping.
came
I was like,
real
yeah,
quick.
let's do it, let's do it. But what a way of doing it, honestly. Like, I know we were talking about predictions and everything and anticipating that game. 2-0 is something we could have predicted, but not that way, not like this. But TES, once again, Ox, you fell for it.
Oh, no! Look, they can still
look
get
at
there.
them
They can still get there, right? Yeah.
Combination, both of them.
And yeah, perfect. You can look happy. He had a difficult year. It hasn't always been easy for him, but he showed up today, and so did the